What's up, everybody? Apoptosis808 here, going to show you guys how to do what I like to call the BRD Pickpocket Plus run. This is a pickpocketing run of Blackrock Depths for rogues. The reason why it's plus is because you can also kill two bosses in here, the Pyromancer and the Grim Guzzler boss, as well as do the Coffers. And I've put that all into one run that we can do. It's pretty efficient. If you get decent RNG and you do the run well, you can average about 60 gold an hour or so, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depends on how much you die, and it also depends on your talents. So speaking of talents, I'll go over what I have right now. In order to kill the Pyromancer boss in the beginning that I'll show you here pretty soon, you do want to spec into Subtlety. Right now I'm kind of a combat subtlety hybrid spec. The most important thing that you want to grab is the 3 ranks of improved sap. The Pyromancer boss has 2 adds, and we are going to be sapping one of them for the entire fight. Without that, it gets a little bit dicey to do, as you start the boss with a lot of lower energy. Camouflage helps, that just makes the run go a lot faster. Elusiveness is really nice, it gives you more protection by having Vanish and Blind up a lot more often. And then Master of Deception, not really necessary if you're level 60, you can basically do this whole run without it. I used to do this run without any points in Subtlety. I was able to pickpocket just fine. It's just a little bit more dangerous and you can't do the first boss. What else you'll need is, if you're going to be doing the coffers, you'll need at least 11 relic coffer keys. This is so that you can get the 11 boxes out of 12 that are in there, as well as you are going to want the instant poison and crippling poison, and those just make the boss fights a little bit easier. But we can just show how to do this here. If you don't have the key, you just need 250 lockpicking to get this first gate. And we'll start the timer as well. We're going to be taking a little bit of breaks here to explain a few things, but we can just start that. This guy you don't have to stealth past if you're level 60, and he's not too close. And we're starting this run here at 0 copper, so we can see exactly how much we make. It can be pretty lucrative. This is how I farmed my epic mount. I did a couple hours a night for about a week. Before we get too deep in here, I will show you guys, this is the macro that I use to cast pickpocket without targeting. It's just a mouse over macro. It's pretty simple. Oops, so long as you don't mess it up like I just did. Okay. Should be good. Perfect. Okay, so let's get it started here. So this pack right here with the 3... Uh-oh, I think I did mess up my macro, actually. Uh-oh. Alright, well, we can just target these guys for now. It's okay. These guys here with the 3, you can possibly spawn a fire elemental with them. So if they do have a fire elemental there, you can only get the first one. You just want to watch out for this first flame guard here. All the elementals in BRD do have a aura that will pop you out of stealth if you're not careful. So we do need to wait for this fire guard. We might be able to just pick this lock here. You need to put this gate down. Again, you either need the key or you need to have 250 lockpicking to do it. So we just move our way up here. We'll grab these 6 dwarves over here, and then we'll make our way to the Pyromancer boss. So for pickpocketing, there is a 5% chance, I believe that's correct here in the classic, that your pickpocket's going to be resisted. If that does happen, you do need to pop your Vanish. Inevitably, it's going to happen to us in this run, so when it does happen, I'll show you how to do it. You're going to want to run away from the mobs before you Vanish, and you want to make sure that you don't go back to pickpocket them too quickly, as if they're not fully reset, they're actually going to evade your pickpocket, and they'll get you out of stealth again and start hitting you. There's only a couple spots that you can actually make it out of the instance without dying. and you usually do need sprint up. Sprint I usually keep on cooldown, so those options usually don't work too well for me. But yeah, pretty simple stuff here so far. Again, you can see exactly how close we get. This is with 3 points in Master of Deception, but again, you can pretty much get this close even without those points if you're level 60. So this is where we're going to kill the first boss. We'll just pickpocket these guys here real quick. There is a fire guard that does patrol this area, so you just want to keep an eye out when you do hop in here. And we'll get these last guys, and this is who we're going to be killing first, this Pyromancer. He is the trickiest boss to kill in here. Even with subtlety, he can be a little bit difficult, so I'll show you exactly what we're hoping to do. So let's put crippling poison on. Oops, actually, so this is another good point here. I usually am spec daggers, but for this specifically, I recommend bring out your old thrash blade, or whatever sword that you have. We're going for burst damage. We're not trying to have a long fight. We want to kill this guy as quickly as possible. Okay, so we got the improved sap there. What we're going to do is cheap shot this guy, blind his friend, or sorry, cheap shot. We're going to slice and dice, blind his friend, and go back to this guy here. So let's try it out. Slice and dice, there's the blind. We want to activate our cooldowns here because we want to get him as fast as we can. Oh, that's right. Okay, so once his friend is back into the game, we can go ahead and activate our Blade Flurry. When he casts Molten Strike is what it's called, you do want to go ahead and kick that. So this was actually a pretty easy run there. A couple things that can happen here. When the Twilight Emissary does get unblinded, he might cast a Frost Nova that will freeze you. At that point, the Pyromancer will run back. It is pretty helpful to have the improved sprint at that point, so that you can actually break out of the bind and go over there and hit him. So we got the Flame Strider robes this time. It's a gold 66. He does have a chance to drop his staff, which is about a 5 gold little increase there. So we got the worst item that we could get. He also has a chance to drop the Fiery Enchantment. And depending on your server, maybe you can sell that for a decent amount of money. On my server, it's pretty much worthless right now because of how many people are on it. I'm on white main, so it's kind of just 30 silver to the vendor, unfortunately. Okay, so again, we'll just finish clearing out these guys here. We've had some pretty decent luck so far. So for when you do kill that last boss there, the Pyromancer, you do have to make sure you have Vanish up. So if you did happen to use your Vanish before getting to him, you will want to wait until it's up, or it's a guaranteed death, unless you can do just insane DPS and kill him and both of the mobs before dying yourself. I personally can't do that, so I have to wait and make sure that Vanish is up. Now you'll notice we are pickpocketing here, and we do not have Vanish up, so that does mean if our pickpocket's resisted, we will have to try to sprint and run out of the instance if possible. And while I'm moving to this next pack, I'm going to try to fix my macro real quick, because I think I know what the problem is. Okay, so we have a Fire Guard that spawned here. He doesn't always spawn there. If he does, you can just skip that pack. We got lucky though, and this one actually doesn't have any Fire Guards here. So we are okay to pickpocket these guys. Nice. Okay, let's see if my... yeah, we're back to it here. So this is my mouse over macro now. I just forgot to have my program started that let me change my keybinds. But now we're back to normal. Again, this pack can also have a Fire Guard, so if there is one there, you just want to go ahead and avoid it. Go ahead and dodge that guy. So at this point, we're going to pickpocket these last 3, and then we're going to move to do coffers. So I will show you how to do that here. You're going to go ahead and jump out the window, and you'll slide down the side. You won't take any damage. You can go ahead and pickpocket these 5 here. Okay, nice. We can go ahead and sprint through this. It's a little bit of a distance, and we'll take a nice little drink of water. It's a good refreshment time. Again, make sure you don't get too close to the fire guards. And you can go ahead and just distract Incendius. Not too big of a deal. So we are going to be making our way through the golem areas here. I don't stop to pickpocket any of these dwarves. I suppose you could if you want to, but I don't think it's too efficient. For the most part, you can just leave them alone and run through the area here. There's plenty more to pickpocket afterwards. Okay. These guys, I hear that if you go on the back of the rail here, that you might aggro that construction. I've personally just never tried it, so I always go in front of them. Again, everything in here is like level 53 at this point, so at level 59 you can do this. You do have to be a little bit more careful. At level 60, you have quite a lot of room for error here. And you can see our bags so far. We've got a lot of heavy junk boxes and that blue. Okay, so these guys are worth pickpocketing here. Okay, so we got all those guys. We'll go ahead and get these 6, and then we'll move in to do the coffers. Now, the coffers, like I said, you want to have at least 11 keys. I've bought probably close to 300 to 400 off of my auction house here. I don't buy them for any higher than about 20 silver. Right around there. Any higher than that, and you run the risk of not making really this worth it. Now, this is a dog here. That's a boss, but you can actually stealth right past him. A lot of people think that he will detect invisibility. He doesn't. You just want to move to this corner. If you're 60, this is fine. I haven't tested this at 59, so be careful. Have Vanish if you're not sure. And start grabbing the coffers here. So the worst coffer I've ever gotten is probably close to like 2 silver. The best coffer I've ever gotten is probably close to 3 gold. And there is a chance to get an epic out of them. But the coffers can easily make your run another 10, 15 gold if you get pretty lucky. That one wasn't too bad. So long as you can average about 50 silver a coffer, you're doing pretty good. Doing pretty nice. Okay, so the most valuable things you can get out of here are the dark iron baby booties. These are 88 silver here. The fat sack of coins, which is at least usually like a gold 30 silver. And then the legal documents and the, I think they're counterfeit documents. I can't remember exactly, but these ones here, the 53 silver. Usually you'll wind up with a few of these. That's going to be your main moneymaker. And we will probably have to open up these bags here. Oh, we got a nice, that one was a really nice one there. That was a document plus the big bag of coins. So that's going to be, that's pretty much paid for our keys right there. So everything else right now is just going to be extra money, which is nice. The more legal documents, the more booties you can get, the better you're doing. The small bag of coins usually, I think, is anywhere from 2 to 10 silver or something like that. They're really not too great. The gem bags can be nice. Again, depending on your server, you might be able to sell them on the auction house. For me, it's super oversaturated right now. I'm going to open some of these so that I have enough room here. So yeah, again, that was a gold 25, a gold 33, and about 28 silver total out of those bags so far. You want to make sure you don't open up these gem bags until the very end, because they're going to have about 5 or 6 unique gems in them. Okay, when you get to over here, you don't want to go too far to the left, otherwise you will pull the warder. So these are our last 2, and we'll leave this last one here. There used to be a way, I'm pretty sure, to get all 12 as a rogue. I have not been able to figure that out. So if you know of a way to do that, go ahead and post it in the comments. I would be really interested to know how you did that, but you will have to save Vanish, because on the 12th one it spawns all these golems, so you will probably die. Okay, 3 bags of gems, not bad, and a bunch of coin pouches here. Awesome. Two of these papers, 4 of these ones, and the booties. Again, so we've probably made close to, I would say, roughly 8 to 11 gold. Okay, so most guides that I've seen at this point, this is where they call the run. The reason for that is because the domicile up ahead is a very deadly area. There is a lot of dogs in there, and those dogs can see through stealth. I will show you guys how to get past that. So there are 3 packs we have to worry about. This first pack in front of us does have a dog. You just have to be patient here and wait for your distract to come off cooldown. Though they can see through stealth if they're facing the other direction, you will be able to get past them. It's okay. This pack here, there's no dog this time, so that's okay. We can actually pickpocket these guys. And then the last pack we really have to worry about, so that pack has a dog and a fire, so we cannot pickpocket. Same with this pack over here, there's a dog we can't pickpocket. Okay, so we lucked out actually. So this is the pack we have to worry about. There's 4 to 5 of these guys that will spawn at any time, and there's a chance that it will spawn a dog. This is the only way to get back out. So what we would have to do, I'll actually demonstrate it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that this guy here is a dog, and I'll show you how to get past it. What you want to do is approach the pack, and as soon as you can, you want to blind them. You can sprint this if you want to, and then you just vanish over here, and you're fine. What that's going to do is, so long as the dog is blinded over there, they won't see through your stealth, and they won't follow you, so you're good to go. You can just easily run through. Be careful, because again, this pack can also have a dog. You just want to make sure that you distract it before you move back through. And we're now back into the hallway where we killed the first boss. And we're back on track, so we're back to the regular route that we were doing before. Sometimes if you've done it, if you're slow enough, I should say, all of these pickpockets will actually respawn, so you can go back through for another round of it. This is the super dangerous part to do though, because if I get resisted here, there's no chance that I can live. My sprint is on cooldown, and so is my vanish, so we're kind of living on the edge here. If you want to be careful, you can just wait for vanish. If you have, other stuff that you can do in the meantime, that's probably the best way to do it. But we're going to go ahead and live on the edge here. My average is about 2 pickpocket resists a run. The best runs I've had, I've gotten actually no pickpocket resists, which is pretty nice, because we pickpocket over 200 dwarves in this place. The worst one I've ever had is probably 8 to 10 resists. That was just miserable. I should have just logged out for the day. It wasn't worth it. Okay, we'll go ahead, and you can do this side if you want to. I'm just going to continue the run here. Alright. We'll just distract that fire guard, make things a little bit easier. We're about 16 minutes in. The fastest I've ever been able to do the coffers plus the rest of the pickpockets is about 22 minutes or so. That's the best time I've gotten for it. And in that time, I think we averaged about 30 gold. So we had a very good coffer run. I think the Pyromancer that time dropped his 5 gold item, and then Plugger at the end dropped the 4 gold barman shanker. So we did very well that run. Again, having subtlety is not necessarily required. It just makes this whole thing go a lot faster by being able to move faster in stealth and having a lot more protection with the reduced cooldown vanish. This is by no means super optimized. There's actually quite a bit of optimization more that you could go for. If you're an engineer and you have access to the the fire reflector trinket, that'll make doing the first boss trivial, as you'll be able to just fling back all of his molten strikes, which do a ton of damage. Okay, so this is probably the most dangerous room to do in the pickpocket run, but it's right before the Grim Guzzler, which is like the promised land. The reason why this room is so dangerous is because there are gnomes and dwarves that patrol around the entire time that you're in here. Going through this room carefully your first couple times will make sure that you don't get seen. And if you're ever in doubt, okay, so there was a resist. We have 5 seconds. We might be able to live, actually. I'm going to try. And... alright, we lucked out. Good stuff. Never punished. So again, there's a ton of patrols everywhere. So you just want to be very careful and distract if you're not sure you're going to make it. Trying to go for all the patrols is usually not really worth it. I usually just pick up if they're in a convenient spot or they're stopped already. Like this one here's a patrol. It'll start moving eventually. Okay, so we'll get these last 5 over here. Nice, and then we're on to the last room of the run. So we've gotten quite a lot of heavy junk boxes so far, which can be really nice for getting potions. You know, you can use that for your raids, you can use that for PvP, whatever you need, as well as you get a lot of poison materials. I usually just sell them if I'm going to do multiple runs. I don't worry about it. So we're in the Grim Guzzler now. This is the easiest room to do, but also can be a little bit dangerous. The reason why it's so easy is all of these guys are neutral. You can pickpocket them, walk through them, it doesn't really matter. If they do resist your pickpocket, they will aggro to you. So okay, so we actually have a full inventory here, so we'll cheat a little bit. This is why I like to use the stars. We can actually unstealth because none of these guys will attack us. We'll turn in some of our loot a little bit early, just so that we can have the inventory space. I unfortunately didn't come here with a ton. So you can come to this guy at the end, sell all your loot to him, and keep going. So we'll just sell all of this stuff that we don't need, and we'll go ahead and open these gems real quick and sell those. And then we'll do a final count as far as how much we've made here at the very end. Okay, so again, really unfortunately none of this stuff is worth keeping and auctioning on my server, but it is certainly a nice pickup of extra silver. Okay, so we know exactly where we left off. Okay, so we can do the bottom of the Grim Guzzler here and then go through the top, and then after that I will show you guys how to kill Plugger, and that's the end of the run. It's pretty fast, it's pretty efficient. As you've seen, we've only been in here for about 20 minutes or so. Plugger usually will take another minute or two. To pickpocket the entire Grim Guzzler will take another minute or two, so we'll probably look at about a 25-26 minute run here. Keep in mind we did stop to show some stuff, so... Okay. Just these final floor over here. We've been actually decently lucky as far as pickpocketing has gone so far here. I might actually even just wait the last 20 seconds here. If you die in the Grim Guzzler, it's not the worst, it just takes a long time to get back. Okay, we got 10 seconds. I'll go ahead and risk it for that. You kind of have to evaluate your risk versus reward here. Is it worth waiting 10 seconds just in case somebody resists you? Probably the answer is yes, unless you're trying to go for some kind of super speed run of it. Okay, so this is the boss we're going to kill. This is Plugger Spazzring. Plugger can drop the Mixologist Tunic. Plugger can drop the Barman Shanker, which is actually a pretty nice dagger item for rogues if you don't already have something to replace that. What you need to do is we have to kill these 4 dwarves. I have 3 mugs of Dark Iron Ale. You want to buy 4 total. At the end of the run, you can actually pick these up off the table. You don't want to do this now because this will actually aggro the entire bar. And you also want to make sure that you do not pickpocket Plugger because that will also activate him. What you do with your 4 Dark Iron Ales, so if you don't have any, just buy 4 from Plugger, is you right click, throw it against the wall here. While you're waiting, you can go for some pickpockets if you want to, or some pick locks rather. And then when the dwarves walk over to it and begin their drink animation, you can go ahead and just kill them. They won't do anything, they'll remain stunned the whole time. Okay, so that's 1. So we'll throw another one here. You can go ahead and pick another lock while we're waiting, just if you want to be super efficient about it. If you're a swords rogue already, this will be even easier for you. I am a dagger rogue usually. We're actually spec'd combat into daggers right now, so you can do this even if you're not really utilizing your spec very well. So the third and fourth ones, you can get 2 pickpocks in there if you want to. Again, if you're trying to be an efficiency nut about it, it's a little bit of save time, I guess. Alright, and last one. A major healing potion is always nice to get. And we can definitely get the second picklock here. And that'll be the 4 dwarves that are near Plugger. And I will show you guys what to do in order to kill Plugger. It's a pretty easy fight. Sometimes Plugger can hit a little bit hard, so you do just got to be careful. It helps to have a potion on hand. If you don't have any by this point, I would recommend just opening some of these lockboxes, and you're more than likely going to get a couple. Okay, so what you want to do, I'll tell you about the fight before I do it, is you want to garrote Plugger, because hopefully you have a sword. Then you want to backpedal over to this corner over here. This is where you're going to do primarily all of the fighting against Plugger. When Plugger casts Shadow Bolt, you want to hide behind this corner here, or hide behind over here if she or he is too far over here. So I'll show you guys what to do. At this point, you can pickpocket them. Okay, so you immediately cast Shadow Bolt. You will just go ahead and sprint over to this one. You kind of want to run out as well, because the pathing in here is a little bit strange, and if Plugger runs all the way to the dwarves, they will aggro. Okay, so you just want to play it super safe. You just don't want to chance any of these Shadow Bolts. They really hurt. Sometimes they'll just try to spam them at you. Okay, we actually ate one there. Okay, there we go. So you just have to get used to playing the corners a little bit against this boss, and it's a really easy kill. You don't usually have to pop anything if you don't want to. Having evasion, having adrenaline rush, and having blade flurry is just nice. And there you go. That's Plugger dead. Okay, so dropped a green this time. Gold 32, copper, not too shabby. Let's go ahead. We'll just finish opening all of these boxes here for a final count. So we're about 25 minutes in. I'll stop the timer there, and we'll see how much gold we made through this run. Pretty nice run. Only got resisted once actually for pickpocketing. That's pretty lucky actually. Average is, like I said, about 2, maybe even 3. Okay. But yeah, this run is really easy to do. You don't have to have any specific spec to do it at 60. You just have to make sure that you have those points in subtlety if you want to kill the first boss. Besides that, you just need to be a 60 rogue that has stealth. And you too can make a ton of money. Oh, we missed one here. I like to make sure that all of my vanishing powder and blinding power is refilled, and then I do sell the rest. If you wanted to be the most efficient about it, you could keep all the poison stuff. You could keep all of the blinding and vanishing powder. Again, I usually like to do multiple runs in a row. So let's just go ahead and we'll sell the rest of this here. Oops, wrong thing. I'll keep the major potion, and we'll sell that. And our total for this run here is 20 gold. So 20 gold in 25 minutes. Not too bad. We didn't get the blues from Plugger, and we didn't get the big item, the gold item from the Pyromancer, so that is a possibility. Just RNG luck there of about another 5 to 6 gold. All in all, not bad. You can at this point run out and reset it, and you're good to go for another one. And because you're doing the plus run of it, you can do these basically over and over and over and over, and you're not going to run into the instance, enter too many instance timer. You're not going to run into that reset issue. So hopefully this was helpful for anybody who wanted to know how to make some gold. If you have a 60 rogue or you're close to it, this could give you some incentive. It's easy money, it's pretty quick, and as far as efficiency goes, it's one of the better runs out there. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.